Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, my friends, my friends. How are we doing today? I am here to celebrate just a wee bit, just a wee bit. I know it's small victories. It really comes down to it. Small victories. Um, most people sit there and be like, "Hey, man, 500 subs is not that much," but hey, you know what? Why not? It's also just an excuse for me to come on live. But whatever. That's where we're at today. 500 sub party. Very happy. Man, I'll tell you what. It's crazy. It's crazy. First. There you go, Kevin. There you go. Nick D, what's up, dude? I don't think I've seen you around before, have I? Renaissance man. What's up, Corey? How we doing today? Howdy, dudes. Again, as always, if you are up in the chat right now, slap a like. Hit that like button. Yes. Every single time you guys hit the like button, you offend a feminist. You take down the feminist indoctrination of the West every single time you hit like here. It sends a message. It reverberates. It's like the butterfly effect. Essentially what it comes down to. I was hey, I'm a little bit late coming on here, 5 minutes or so. I was typing away. Not on social media. I'm 85,000 words now into my next book. I'm very, very happy about that. It's the most I've ever written in my entire life, and I'm very pleased. I mean, it's crazy. My first book, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days, I believe is like, 28,000 words? I thought that was a lot at that point in time. Crazy. Good day, Corey. How you doing? 500. Congrats, duder. Yeah, no doubt. Ed, sup, Corey? Happy New Year, mate. No doubt. Mike Ellis, what is up? Cool avatar, by the way. Ooh, how we all doing today, everybody? How's it going? I'm trying to. What the hell? Why is it not hiding? There we go. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Absolute craziness. I had a pretty interesting event happen in my life yesterday after I got off the air. However, I can't talk about it here live. I'm going to tell, this is a story that is reserved only for the WarTribe. We will discuss this story of mine and some other events on Sunday at the webinars, the one, the only webinar on Sunday. Here's the thing, though. You can only join the webinar if you are a part of WarTribe. Plain and simple. Also, I got quite a bit of emails yesterday. Very excited to announce I gave away quite a few copies of the PDF of my first book, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days. If that's something you're interested in, just email me at agodofmen@gmail.com. agodofmen@gmail.com, and I will send you a free copy of Live Your Best Life in 30 Days, my first book. Oh, man. It feels nice to give away something you work so hard on. Oh, man. Whatever. As long, I marked up the price yesterday on Kindle to $9.99. So that feminists, when they do decide to come over and flame my reviews, they at least got to pay me $10. No big there. I think no big deal. I think that's a great trade-off. Nick D already bought it. He says, awesome. Did you leave a review? If you haven't done so, please do so. If it's a bad review, cool. I love it. If not, thank you. Oh, let's see. I saw something up here because Mr. Philip Franklin crushed arm day and then polished off another 16-ounce steak. What type of steak are you eating, dude? Yesterday myself, I had some tri-tip. I put it in the air fryer. It turned out fucking extra delicious. But the majority of what I'm eating lately, as far as steak is concerned, is either eye rounds or stew meat. I like to take the little nuggets of stew meat and just throw it in the air fryer and put it in there for 12 minutes at 370. Comes out perfectly. I like stew meat for some reason. I really do. It's pretty tender. It's pretty tender. if you really cook it the right way. And then you don't have to worry about all the fat and stuff. I've kind of been turned off from ribeye lately. Kevin, speaking the truth up in here, if there's one thing feminists cannot stand, it's the truth. Yep, that's going on big time on my Instagram right now. Women have been flocking to my Instagram since my last account got deleted on Twitter. Rest in peace, Master of Masculinity. We'll get back there. Though. What if someone just unsubscribed? Asks Archer. Still hit it, right? I still hit the marker, didn't I? No big deal. NBD. Oh, David Wigley says, congrats, Corey. Thank you very much. Christopher Wilson in the house. What's going on, dude? Appreciated your email yesterday, by the way. Ricardo Rivas says, good discussion on the WarTribe last night. I'll follow up on my thread later. I appreciate the feedback on it so far. No doubt. Brent Caldwell. Congratulations. Thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. You guys are a fantabulous group of individuals. The only thing I ask is for the rest of you to join the WarTribe. Right there in the ticker on the bottom. Damn, I need to trim my neck up. Went back to jiu-jitsu today. My jiu-jitsu gym was closed down for the holidays. Got back into jiu-jitsu today, and holy crap, I fucking missed it. It's like I'm so happy. Like I was so happy. It's crazy because like everything in your body before you go to jiu-jitsu, especially after you've taken some time off, tells you not to go. It's like screaming, like don't go. Like you're gonna get fucking crushed. Like it's laying out like the worst. It's like laying out the worst possible scenarios for you, right? Like even the warm-ups, you're sitting there like, oh, I don't want to go because of warm-ups and all this other stuff. And showed up. It was our main professor, Johnny Faria. This dude is a fucking animal. Seriously. This guy is so good at jiu-jitsu. It's ridiculous watching him. He's very, very technical too. It's just insane. God damn, we're going to start talking about fucking instruments again. Why don't you guys go and do that in the WarTribe? Create a forum. Talk about it there. I don't think you guys can keep talking about it here. I'm just teasing you. Eli says, join the WarTribe. It's a great decision for those that would actually like to level up their life. Hey, listen, I'm not going to argue with that. I actually just posted something in there today about getting more lethal and becoming more lethal. That's one of the things that I'm trying to focus on this year. And I'm just talking about it in the sense of like martial arts and self-defense. I went to, I forget, it was probably like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. It was right before Christmas. We did our belt promotion ceremony. And I'm a 2-stripe purple belt right now. And, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I give a lot of the black belts trouble. There's probably two or three black belts that can really kick my ass. And they're like high level, like multi-stripe black belts. Professor Johnny, he's like I want to say he's like 185, 195. I'm 245 right now. He has no issues with me. Like that dude is just so good. Like even my strength and my quickness and all this other stuff, he just out fucking performs me in every way possible with just his technical skill. And it drives me crazy. Like honestly, in my brain right now, I cannot fathom becoming that good at jiu-jitsu. And that's kind of like, it's the same thing here with hitting 500. There's things in life where it's really hard to be able to like quantify success, especially when you start out at nothing, right? And you don't have a lot of these things you don't have like a lot of support, I guess, in your back pocket, right? You're starting off from zero, you're starting off from scratch, and you're just like, I just got to go out there and I just got to grind, right? And that's really like, somebody in the chat already said, like, hey, that's not a lot or whatever. Or, what if you lose more people and all this other stuff? Who cares? Like, I still hit 500. No one could ever take that. No one could ever take that away from me. Right. Like, in my brain, I hit that level, right? I'm capable of, just from being a fucking nobody to being able to get 500 fucking amazing subscribers to come on here every single time I go live. There's at least 30 to 40 of you that are coming on like religiously when I come on the air, and you guys are filling up the chat with amazing discussions, supporting everything I do, supporting everything that everybody else is doing, especially because we're all brothers in the WarTribe right now too. Yeah, Matt W says if you weigh 245, a solid muscle, and you're a purple belt, that's a lethal combo. Yeah, that's why, like I said, that's why a lot of these black belts, is that on my screen or is that okay? Like, I give these guys a lot of trouble. Except for like main heavy black belts that have been doing jiu-jitsu for like 10, 15, 20, 45 years. Like, I'm not the biggest badass mofo in the world. It's just I have a like Matt W said, I just have a fucking amazing combo of weight, athletics, and then years in the game so far. But regardless, what I'm talking about is this. Like, I went to that promotion ceremony, and I'd been kind of slacking off a little bit and going to jiu-jitsu. Mainly because, like I said, I'm 85,000 words into this book right now. I sat for like 2 weeks when I first started writing this book. Like, that's all. I mean, I did other stuff. Of course, I worked out and did everything, but like, my brain was just surging with ideas, and I just sat there and I cranked out probably about at least 55 to 65,000 words in like a 2-week time frame, where I was just like stream of consciousness, had everything lined up, and I was just fucking nailing it, right? So, jiu-jitsu kind of went on the back burner. I had a goal this year. I wrote down in my little planner / journal, 2 to 3 stripes on my purple belt or brown belt. And I wrote that down because at the beginning of the year, I was probably going to jiu-jitsu about 5 times a week. My jiu-jitsu was getting so nasty. Like, when I was sleeping and meditating, I was doing jiu-jitsu. It was fucking awesome. Like, awesome. 501 right now. This is great. Thank you. 501. I appreciate that. Was that you, Greg B? That is 501? Or are you just viewing that? Anyway, either way, thanks for being a subscriber and pointing that out. That's awesome. But yeah, I used to just sit there. I could close my eyes and do jiu-jitsu. And I was thinking of new combos, and I was thinking of new positions, how to get out of sticky points and all this other stuff. Really fucking awesome. Like, great times. But just like how things kind of like, this is a lot of what we talk about in the WarTribe as well. If you guys haven't read my first book yet, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days, I highlight the 6 major areas of life that men need to become masterful in. And it's the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and relational. And the problem is, most men will create a strategy in their life where they're only going to become proficient in like one of those things, like masterful. And then the 2 other things are kind of like a subcategory that they're trying to like work on and all this other stuff. If you're a smaller guy, jiu-jitsu, that's what it was created for. I'm just a fucking maniac, right? And I'm just like, fuck it, I need to get into like, everyone should have jiu-jitsu as their foundation. It takes the longest to learn. It's something that you're never going to be able to master. You could learn hands, you could learn boxing, fairly easy. Wrestling is probably the second hardest thing, but wrestling is really, really hard on the body. So it depends on what age you're in, but you should do a little bit of wrestling. If your jiu-jitsu school doesn't do any form of wrestling, it's not that good of a gym. I hate to say that. We do quite a bit of wrestling, pummeling, positions, clinching and all that other stuff, working off the wall. We work that way on top of doing quite a bit of judo as well. Oh, we're going to talk about this today. That's awesome. I didn't want to get into occlusion training because it's a little bit too high level. I see far too many people that are just basic level lifters, and they're trying to get in there doing all the fancy stuff. It's like watching a new CrossFitter come in and try to do muscle ups. It's like, just mastered the fucking basics first, which is tying back into this today too. Those 6 key areas you got to master. the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and relational. And that's a lot of what we're talking about right now in the WarTribe is how to build a guy that's able to become proficient in all of that. Now, when it comes to martial arts, like I said, the foundation should be jujitsu. Then next it should be wrestling. And then I'd say next is boxing. And then from there you can get into like Muay Thai and different types of striking with kicks, right? So that's how the pyramid should be built is jujitsu, judo, wrestling, boxing, then kickboxing and all the like, and then tie that into MMA as like the eye on the top of the pyramid, right? So that's highly, highly, highly recommended. I go to Alliance Jiu-Jitsu in San Diego. Fucking just such a good school. The two best schools here in San Diego are Alliance and Atos. Believe it or not, Atos is right down the street from me too. Fucking heavy hitters in that school. Very, very good. You should always strive to be the deadliest man in the room. Absolutely. But humble yourself down enough to make it seem as though you're not. Right? I was talking about that the other day. Actually, sorry, I was talking about that in the WarTribe webinar, how I'm just seeing all these guys walk around the gym with their fucking lats out like crazy, trying to act like they're the toughest people. Listen, weightlifting does not carry over to fighting. I was a very, very high level CrossFit athlete. I could fucking do all sorts of crazy stuff. I could lift a ton of weight over my head, but guess what? I couldn't fight. And if I got into a fight, none of that cardio or none of that, whatever I was doing is going to carry over, right? Like fight cardio is completely different from cardio, if that makes any sense. And you're only going to learn that when you get when you get on the mat. So that's one big thing that I'd love to see a lot of you guys try to get involved in with this year. It's one of the scariest things in the world to get into. I'm going to tell you, like, it really crushes your ego. When I went on the mat 4.5 years ago, I had just closed down my CrossFit gym, but I still had a lot of my strength and I still had a lot of my fitness from CrossFit. And I walked in there. I was with a buddy of mine who was a brown belt at the time. Was he a brown belt or was he? No, he was a high level purple. Because I watched my buddy get his brown and then black. High level purple belt. And I was like, this is stupid. I'm like, I'm going to fucking kick this kid's ass. And he was probably good 30, 40 pounds lighter than me. And literally 30 seconds in, 30, 40 seconds in, I was done. I was just already out of breath. I blew my load and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I was so bad that I became addicted to it. That's my personality, right? Like when I'm bad at something, when I'm really, really terrible at something and I feel like an idiot, I'm like, all right, this means I need to become masterful at it. So that's kind of where I'm at. BJJ is humbling. Nothing like getting choked out by a 120-pound 16-year-old. Absolutely. And that's exactly what it was like when I first started too. I was getting my ass kicked. Everyone was coming after me. The big tattooed guy with a beard. Everyone wanted a shot at me as a white belt because they knew 6 months later it wasn't going to be that same way, right? Anyway, the reason why I brought that up is because I didn't shave my neck today because I knew I was going to jiu-jitsu. And every time I shave my neck and then go to jiu-jitsu, it does not feel good. We worked some nasty chokes today for drills. Look at Josh Barnett. He's a high-level black belt and a giant. Yeah, it's possible. Already answered this one, I believe. Yeah, you need to get into jiu-jitsu as your foundation. Catch wrestling's pretty good. Learn to shoot guns too. 100%. Yes, be the gray man. I'm so happy I joined the WarTribe. So much good shit in here, and the best part is the accountability. I'm going to show up every week for the webinars, and I cannot take action on the advice. Yeah, well, you're going to take action on the advice. I get you. He's awesome. Except you need to put that story up in there, bro. You need to put the story up in the WarTribe. Spend some time right now and write that up. Thanks, gents. I'm looking for some disciplines to increase striking power as well. Cheers. Yeah, I'd recommend just go to jiu-jitsu 3 times a week to start off. And then once you get in the fight conditioning of jiu-jitsu down, then add in striking. Of course, one thing you always want to do too is, so I'm trying to burn this fly with them. There we go. Got him. You always want to have weightlifting as a steeple, especially with jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu really starts to change your physique. As crazy as that sounds, you start to become more hunched because you're kind of sitting in these positions and you're using your body differently. Whereas like a lot of people are used to doing stuff like this, like jiu-jitsu, you become really tight and you really start how to move different things. But the problem is you kind of change your posture that way. So now when you lift, you're still maintaining your jiu-jitsu posture, but also correcting it at the same time. You want to maintain your tendon, muscle, and ligament relationship. That's really what it comes down to. Matt W says, I remember a guy built like Corey, maybe bigger, came to a BJJ school I was at. He roughed up a couple white belts excessively. So our black belt instructor, about 170, rolled with him. I bet you he never came back. Oh, here we go. Whooped his ass brutally. The guy never came back. Strength isn't everything. Also, walking in there and trying to be a fucking dickhead to prove yourself. That's not the way. This is not the way. If you don't check your ego at the door, you come in there as someone who wants to learn. The thing is, like, you're not there to kick people's asses, even though you are. The thing about jiu-jitsu, and this is what I love about it, is you're all brothers. And that's the most powerful thing about it, is it's the best form of brotherhood that I've experienced on this planet thus far. You have the discipline, right? You have the tradition. You have the discipline of putting on your gi or your kimono, right? There's something primal about that. I don't know what it is, but there's something primal about putting on your fucking gi and tying your belt, bowing before you go on the mat, and then lining up and then being in this hierarchy. Everyone's able to see it, right? Everyone's able to kind of see their pecking order and kind of know the subconscious pecking order to all this stuff too as well. And then just fighting, like, we don't play fight anymore. You know, Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot, where it's important for kids, especially boys, to fight growing up, to play. That way they're able to learn the right and left lateral limits by which they're able to operate in society, right? Everyone kind of understands, like, these are, like, once you start to cross this boundary, kind of like what Matt W was talking about, like, this guy didn't know, whoops, wrong one, but I'll pull that one back up. He was talking about with this guy who came in strong as hell and he started beating everybody up. That's unsafe. That's not cool, right? Because the thing is, in jiu-jitsu, we're using each other as a dummy for us to get better. And if you break the dummy, you're not going to get better, right? So it's counterproductive for you to hurt the people you're rolling with. So it's like, it's taking it to that lateral limit. That's where growth comes from for both of you. You know, in jiu-jitsu, we call the person who's like kind of taking the beating our uke, right? It means like dummy, right? Like, but it's our trainer. So there's a level of respect, even though you can kind of use it as a pejorative sometimes, like, haha, you're just the uke, right? You're a dummy. But the thing is, like, every time you're working with your dummy, you don't want to hurt your dummy because you want to continue to train. And this is the other cool part about jiu-jitsu too, is everything happens in waves. Like, if I'm the hammer and I'm fucking crushing people, like, I'm at my peak, I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm just killing it. I'm crushing everyone. 2-3 weeks later, I'm getting crushed by that guy. And I'm down, right? It's kind of weird, right? But my down is higher than my last down, if that makes any sense. So everything is like peaks and valleys, but you want to be like a stock ticker where you're peaking and you're only coming down a little bit and then you're peaking back up. But then you're okay, right? The other people that like you went hard on before, they now want to get better. So they're getting better. So now you're getting better because they got better. So that's kind of the way that you want to play this all out. It's really, really a fucking phenomenal, just a phenomenal pastime. It's something I want to continue to do for the rest of my life. Someone up here, I think it was actually Brent. If you're weightlifting 6x a week, would adding jujitsu be too much? It depends on the type of lifting you do. If you're doing like a bodybuilder split and you're not going heavy all the time, like if you're not trying to like peak and PR every single time or like continue to increase weights, no, because I lift every day, right? Well, I took today off, but that's because I fucking went ham. I went ham beast mode yesterday, and I had like a deadlift fucking pre-workout hangover today. I just went too hard. It felt great, and then I went to jujitsu. So today I did not lift. I actually just kind of sat around. Well, I didn't sit around. I did some like monster walks, and I did some hip thrusts and some other things to kind of like mobilize my hips and do a bunch of different stuff. And I'll probably do that later. But I didn't go into the gym and weightlift today. But I will tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, I'll also go to jujitsu and Muay Thai. That's my Friday night. I love that. Oh my God. So we spar for an hour in jujitsu, and then we spar for an hour in Muay Thai. And it's just a fucking phenomenal Friday night. Hell yes. So Brent, if it comes down to it, I mean, your physique is pretty fucking phenomenal right now. I would say to you, shoot for fucking 3 times a week at jujitsu. And then as long as you're getting into the gym 4 or 5 times, instead of it being a 6-day split, right? Then you're good. Because now you're adding a new skill set into your toolbox that you do need. And man, I'll just tell you, jujitsu just adds so much more. A lot of us guys, the reason why we're all trying to form this stuff is because we're all lone wolves, and we're kind of like sick of being the lone wolf, because we realize like shit's gonna hit the fan in society pretty soon. Like we need a tribe. And believe it or not, that's what the WarTribe is all about. That's why I started it, right? I want my boys to be lethal, and I want them to all be on the same team and realize like, yeah, we do need tribalism. We need to have some of these things like violence is a virtue as a central tenet. And we need to be around like-minded guys. That's really what it comes down to, with tradition, respect, and honor as well. It's like you say in your book, the importance of ritual. Yeah, we are no longer a ritualistic society. We've foregone the rituals, and rituals are important. We do rituals every single day. I'd like to go into more detail with that as far as why that's important, but we'll save that for a later time. Nick, are you part of the WarTribe, dude? You would be a phenomenal fit, I feel like. Some years ago, Uriah Faber came into Wildcard Boxing Gym to spar, got humbled quick time by this Russian kid. Got to respect the art. Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the upward trend, not the spikes and the dips. Yeah, you are not going to, it's just not going to be a linear progression. It's never going to just be this straight and narrow up. It's that, how boring would that be too, by the way, if you just arrived like, hey, I'm here. Like now I'm a pro. Hey, I'm here. Now I'm a black belt, right? You got to have the fucking ebbs and the flows, man. Like that's what makes life fucking crazy. It's just, you don't need to have bipolar fucking swings, right? That's crazy. That's hard. That's how my life used to be. The cool thing about BJJ, at least some schools, is the instructor becomes your friend, much like a wrestling coach. You learn a lot by mistake, and it's tough, but it's fun too. Jokes are not uncommon. Yeah, I'll tell you the other thing. This is going to sound really gay, but I don't care. There's times where I wish that I could bring the microphone into the locker room and do a podcast from the locker room, because, and this is how men communicate, right? Men do stuff, and then afterwards we open up in a way, right? And we open up in a way where like it fosters a lot of growth for other people around us. So like the combos we have in the locker room, sometimes we'll stay there. And that's why I like I said, I like these Friday night fights, because sometimes we'll sit there for an hour. We're just sitting there talking, right? People will be talking about their first business and losing their business and then starting up something new, or how scared they were when they first got their first mortgage and what they had to do there, becoming a father, or, I'll talk to guys about dating and different stuff like that, right? It's fucking really awesome. It really, really is awesome. And it doesn't just happen in the locker room. It's kind of, just one of those things. It'll be on the mat. We'll all finish a roll on a Friday night and we'll just be sitting there, and then we'll just all start talking, right? We'll just open up about things that are either bothering us in life or whatever. And then sometimes we'll break and we'll just sit there and like, hey, I need some help with this move and this move and this move. And someone will be like, oh yeah, let's do this. And we'll play around with different things. And then we'll get back to talking. And then afterwards we'll go out to eat dinner or whatever, right? Like it really is a tremendous value to add. Like it's a tremendous skill set, and the other things that are incorporated into getting involved in jiu-jitsu is just absolutely amazing. Tony S., what's up, guys? Congrats on the 500 subs, Corey, and looking forward to more live broadcasts. Yeah, I'm trying to go live quite a bit more. First and foremost, I like it. I like going live. I like talking and telling the stories that I incorporate in my day-to-day. Encounter in my day-to-day. Yeah, and I just feel like there's not a lot of authentic people out there. There's not a lot of authentic people out there that have gone through the stuff in life that I've gone through that are willing to sit there and just talk about it. So we're approaching this time frame in life right now. Like I said, there's a convergence happening, and that's actually how I start my second book. There's something happening. We all smell it. We all feel it. There's a subconscious understanding that the way our society and the way our culture is today is not going to survive, and we all feel it. We're all getting pulled in the direction of where our tribe is and who our tribe is. And it's funny because I even said this, so long, Master Your Masculinity on Twitter, but I said this on Twitter. I said some of my best friends in today's world are guys that I met on the internet. It's crazy. Over the last year, I've met some phenomenal dudes, John, MLD, Googs, fucking Myron's up in the house, people that I've met in forums and different types of chats and different stuff, meetups that I started hosting before, right? Like it's fucking crazy. Fucking Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. That's kind of what I'm doing here. And I'm just trying to sit here and make sure that we keep attracting the right people. Yeah. Tyler Durden is saying it for sure. And that's why I say, guys, I talk about the 6 pillars. The spiritual one is huge. Most people will probably look at me and think that I'm not a very spiritual person, especially, a lot of these fucking crazy SJWs who want to sit there and rattle off about light and love and peace and harmony and all this other fucking horse shit. But they fail to recognize that the feminine does not have a monopoly on spirituality. I say this a bit. That's a very feminine minded projection of what the spiritual world should be, or what the world should be through a feminine minded spirit, right? It's, we should all get along. There should be peace on earth and harmony and all this other stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie The Matrix. I hope you have. I believe in The Matrix 2, when Neo is talking to the architect. A lot of people hated that part of the movie because, and even me, the first few dozen times that I saw that movie, I was so disappointed for some reason. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I had no clue. And I didn't understand what the hell the architect was saying. It was like gibberish. And now I know what he's saying. It's crazy. I went back, listened to it, and I was so pissed off because Neo wasn't like what I felt like was like Neo. It like cheapened Neo being the one, if that made sense, because there was 5 other iterations of Neo prior to that, and then there was all these other possibilities and all this other stuff. But what the architect was saying was there's 5 other matrices or matrices before this matrix that they all lived in. And he talks about, this really comes down to consciousness. I really think that this is it's such a good movie to understand along the lines of what the spirit world has created in the physical world for us to learn and continue to grow. And I think this has happened in the past before. I mean, there's so many different possibilities. I mean, if time is infinite, why not play with infinite timelines? So, what the architect talks about is consciousness chose in its first iteration to have a world where everything was just bliss. And then he says that the Matrix rejected it, right? So that's what consciousness is. The Matrix rejected it. Why? Because it was boring, right? It wasn't fun. There wasn't any push pull. There wasn't any dichotomy. There wasn't any way to feel. It was just, imagine what it would feel like if all you ever felt was bliss forever. It's like, man, this kind of sucks. Like, I'm bored of being blissful. Like, I need something fucking new. I need to try something out, right? And this is like, this is everything that I'm talking about in my second book right now. Like, why masculine? Like, why the masculine and the feminine are paired together? Why there is a thing called dark and light? Why there's negative and positive, right? Those are the two pistons that drive the engine of life, of this understanding of like how to find happiness. Because here's the thing, like, my goal right now in life is to get rich as fuck, like rich as fuck. Why? Because I've been fucking poor my entire life, right? And like, not just poor, but like, I fucking hit rock bottom 3 or 4 years ago where I was homeless living in a bus and I had a fucking pistol to my head and I was about to blow my fucking brains out. Like, that's how bad it was. And I was I fucking hated life so much that I wanted to quit. But then I had an epiphany happen in that moment where it was like, if you quit now, like, you don't know, like, you end the story. You don't know what could happen next. Do you really want to leave right now? And then the other thing that happened too was like, I need to tell this story. I mean, it's a really good story, but the way I normally deliver it is like, I really truly actually went into like a hallucination, and I saw the story of my life up to that point of how everyone was telling me my value and how I was just like, I was like a character in their story, and they were dictating the way that my character responded to things. So I had never really truly been in control of my own life. And my own consciousness said to me in that moment, it's like, do you really want to die now and let them win? Let them dictate the terms by which you lived your life and by how you found happiness? Or do you want to get up tomorrow and do you want to march forward as the hero of your own story and live life on your fucking terms? And, I put the pistol down and I was like, I want that. I choose life. I choose to say fuck you to all these other people. I choose to become the hero of my story, and I choose to live my best goddamn life. And I'm going to tell you guys, it sucked. I had to rebuild from fucking zero, but I had to climb out of that hole. It took 3.5 years to climb out of that hole. The depression, the anxiety, the thoughts of suicide, the paying back fucking debts, filing bankruptcies, watching fucking cars get repossessed. Like, it was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. But I'll tell you what, looking back at it now, 5 years later, I wouldn't have it any other way. The person I am right now, the value that I know I have, the type of individual I know I am, and the direction I know my life is going to be, because that's the difference. Like, when I sit here and I talk about becoming fucking rich as fuck and me wanting to be the richest man in the world, I've already seen it. It's out there, right? I've seen that reality. I've touched it. I know it exists. So if I know it exists, I know it's already happened, or I know it's already happened, right? So why the fuck would I give up? Why would I give up? All I got to do now is I just got to keep marching. I just got to keep walking. I just got to keep moving in that direction because I know it's already happened. I know it's going to happen, right? I know what changes I'm going to bring to this fucking world. I know the things. It's crazy, right? Like, think about it from that perspective. Think of how strong. If you know it's already happened, like, you can't fuck it up. I mean, I'm sure I could fuck it up. I'm not doing anything in my power to fucking destroy it, right? But that's a really fucking powerful place. And that's why, throwing this little celebration about 500 subs, that's just a fucking marker. That's a marker to look back a year from today when I'm sitting here with what's my goal? 250,000 subs, 250K subs in 1 year. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. As a matter of fact, I know it's possible because I know me personally, and this is going to sound crazy. There's a reason why I fucking named the show or named my channel God Amongst Men. Like, I really do think, that I've gone to places through consciousness and I've tapped into a fucking, no kidding, like God-like environment where I was able to see all these things. And I got to see the type of individual I am, and I know my value. And I also think, like, the reason why I named this channel this too is this: like, I want to motivate other men. I want to motivate other beings on this planet to level up to that level. Like, stop thinking of yourself as less than a god when you can actually become, like, you can become a god. You can enlighten yourself and bring yourself up to the best version of yourself, which is like a godlike version of yourself. Like, you should want to walk on this earth as a god. And I actually think, what's his name wrote a book. So this guy wrote a book. Yuval Harari. What the hell's his name? Right. I think that's his last names. Homo Deus. If you guys haven't read that book, he goes to the length to say that that's our next evolutionary step. And that's where we're going, is that man is going to be a no kidding walking God on this earth. And if you look at the technology that we're producing right now and all the things that are happening, like, it's no joke. Like, that's a fucking possibility. Just, you got to accept it. Great segue here from Nick D. How did you release the grip of the abusive upbringing besides Iboga? In other words, stop seeking power from external things. Well, I say that, this is where ayahuasca came in, because ayahuasca was the one that actually destroyed that foundation, but in a very in a fucking very terrible way, right? That one, the story I told you about laying in the bus, I had literally just done ayahuasca probably like 2 months before that. And that was the ayahuasca teaching me a lesson. I think, and this is the downfall of our society as well. And this is why I want to initiate boys into manhood via a no kidding entheogenic ritual as well. Because I think the sooner that we could get boys to let go of that external validation, we're always going to have some attachment to external stuff. But when it's stuff that owns you rather than you owning it is when there's an imbalance. That's the difference between man energy and boy energy, right? The boy energy looks at those things as his identity. The man looks at it as just a reflection of his own value, right? The man also realizes, I could be in a fucking hut in the middle of the rainforest and I'm still the most valuable thing here. Right. And I can reattain all of those things if I can't. Like, if I've already been there, I can reattain it. The boy, on the other hand, would be crushed. I did ayahuasca in Peru and I did it stateside. Highly recommend, if you ever want to do ayahuasca, you go down to Peru though and do it there. I did it in Iquitos, Peru. I actually went deep into the rainforest though. Yeah. But I'd also recommend, if you're really looking to do something like this, Greg, I'm more of a fan of Iboga. Go ahead and check out my, it's actually the first few videos that I did. The first video that I have on here is my Iboga testimonial. I've done it twice. And then I compare Iboga to ayahuasca. So go take a look at that and also give that a like as well. Going back to Nick D's, how do you release your grip of the abusive upbringing besides Iboga? In other words, stop seeking power from external things. Yeah, I think that's why, because that's the attachment to mom and dad as well. We have this deep childhood belief and understanding that our mom and dad are literal gods and that they could do nothing wrong. And everything that they tell us is, no kidding, is the dogma, right? So even the stuff that they teach you, and because a lot of the times the stuff that they're going to teach you is going to be like hypocritical. Like, for instance, my father was a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. Really threw me off on a lot of stuff. So that actually helped release a lot of that stuff. How do you release it without having to do iboga? Man, that's a tough one. I think meditation is key, but I mean, I also can't say that if it wasn't for me doing these entheogenic medicines, man, I don't know where I would be. So, I mean, it's like making a cake. Like, all of my ingredients were added at the right time in order for me to be who I am right now. So it's like, I don't know. Cool. I really like the God analogy you use. That would be our highest self, our full potentials. Yeah, I talk about that. Do I talk about it in Live Your Best Life in 30 Days? No, I talk about it in my new book coming out right now. It's going to be like a resurgence of spirituality as well. And I talk to people about what true spirituality looks like, if that makes sense. And it's like it's like being your own autonomous, sovereign spirit that's capable and should be willing to journey using these entheogenic medicines to find out what your specific soul mission is, right? What your specific path is, and no one else could tell you. And I think that's the best thing. Right? It's like the complete anti-religion. Like, you find out for yourself. And that's what iboga really is. Like, man, not the last iboga experience that I went through, but the first one, really got to, it's IBOGA, by the way, Greg B. IBOGA. Yeah, that's what it said. That's what the plant teaches you. That's what they say. It's like, we can't tell you anything. As a matter of fact, we're not going to tell you anything. Like, it's your job to go and find out for yourself. Are you willing to take the journey? Right. And that's the ultimate, like, hero's journey, like Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. Like, hey, you can find out for yourself. Do you want to do this? And it's like shrouded in all this crazy mystery, and like, you're scared and you're like, oh my God, I could fucking die. And it's like, yeah, I want to. Like, that is a fucking ultimate killing of the boy. Like, that's huge stuff. Meditation during a prolonged fasting period. Yeah, there's numerous ways to get there. I'd say the biggest thing, though, and this is where Greg B's kind of talking about it too. I'm quite experienced with psychedelics, never even heard of iboga. Yeah, like I'm saying, iboga is high level. To me, that's actually like what I consider iboga is like the ultimate masculine mentor. But here's the thing. People that are locked into the matrix, like what we're talking about, blue pill stuff, you're probably going to need psychedelics to open the doors up a little bit more. So you can meditate for all you want, but if the doors aren't open, you're not getting that channel, right? It's like getting a black box. Is iboga available stateside, and should I do one before the other? Hey, and I'm glad you're back on the channel too, because I wanted to answer your question from yesterday. If you could remind me what your question was, because I remember. Oh yeah, never mind. I remember you said, I'm a single father who's just recently divorced. What's the purpose of online dating? Is it long-term relationships and stuff like that? The purpose of online dating for you, if that's something that you want to be into, like if you want to do that, the thing is, whenever it comes to long-term relationships, you should still have your options available. Because if you just go up to one girl and you're like, hey, I want to have a long-term relationship with you, and like, I'm willing to be faithful and all this other stuff to you, she's automatically going to put you as a beta, right? And she's never going to treat you as a prize. So you always want to have the ability to make it seem as though you have options. And the other thing too is this: you want to really truly have options. Because if you find the first girl who's just willing to settle down with you, she might not be your best option. So learn to date, learn to spin plates. And then when you're ready and you found a good girl that you vetted and you've put her through your own tests and you've established boundaries and she doesn't push back and she meets your criteria, then that's when I say settle down. So, if you are a long-term relationship kind of guy, absolutely. That should be your goal. But just know, cool. I got you. I'm separated, not looking for anything serious. Does your course cover how I should approach that? Yes, 100%. That's mostly what the course is for. And with that said, I'll post that up in the thingy. Control C, if that's something you're interested in. He's talking about my online dating mastery course. Also, hit that like, motherfuckers. Enroll in online dating mastery on Teachable now. Link is in the comments. Let's go back to your first question, though. I had it up there. Is Iboga available stateside? And should I do one before the other? Here's what I would recommend you do. I am a no kidding shaman through the Oklavanac, right? The Native American Church. This means that this person secured with this card has met the standard of sincerity to be a member of the Oklavanac Native American Church. Being a member of ONAC qualifies this card holder to carry and or possess Native American Church sacraments, including but not limited to peyote, ayahuasca, cannabis, psilocybin mushrooms and fungi, and etc., which means I can also legally carry Iboga because that is part of my spiritual practice. So go and become a member of the Native American Church. And then, yes, you can buy the stuff online if you want to. Now, here's my thing, though. And you're going to hear me say this all the time. I don't believe that you should do this stuff on your own. I believe that if this is something you want to get into later on, awesome, because that might be the path. But first, go and spend the money. Go to Iboga Wellness, www.ibogawellness.com. ibogawellness.com. It's in the chat. Give them a call, see if it fits you. It's a little bit pricey, but it's worth it. I spent my first time I went down there, I was poor, like I said, but I needed to cure my anxiety and depression. It was overwhelming, right? It was terrible. This was like my last ditch effort. So I spent my money. I went down there, I cured it. And I also got to learn a lot about myself from going through this. You want to do it with shamans. Someone asked me earlier, they said, Corey, did you go to Peru or did you do it stateside when you did ayahuasca? Right? I did one ceremony down in Peru. It was one of the best, hands down, best experiences of my life. Awesome shamans in the environment that it's supposed to be done in. The second time I did ayahuasca, I did it in fucking Joshua Tree with a bunch of fucking wackos, right? Like super crazy libs from LA and people living in Joshua Tree. And it was awful, terrible experience, right? The container you put yourself into, right, is the extent of like what you're going to get out of your journey. And these people that I just sent, ibogawellness.com, like you want the right shamans that are trained in all sorts of stuff to be there. Iboga is crazy different. It's even different from ayahuasca. It lasts anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, where it's like when you open your eyes, it's like looking at like a fucking it's almost like looking at a TV screen that's kind of like been hit. Like it's weird. It's weird. Like you're not all there. You want to be in someone's care when you're doing Iboga, because you want to do it to heal. You don't want to just do it to do it, if that makes sense. What would you say are the top focuses of the WarTribe if you had to put them in order? Wealth, brotherhood, fitness, dating, etc., etc. If If I had to put them in order, well, like I talk about, I preach that all six, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and relational, are things that we need to be working on. I would say right now, the biggest things that we're working on are removing toxic relationships from people's lives and identifying those and taking the steps to need to do that. Fitness, building wealth through passive income, style, and then absolutely, dating is a big one. How to set up your online profiles, what pictures to put on there, um, how to get more social credibility, how to talk to women, how to set up your dates. And I mean, one of the big things that we need to talk about, but we're getting into as well, is how do you mix all of this stuff? How do you mix all of this stuff in? Um, no, they don't do it. They don't do it properly. Don't do it. You're going to get more messed up. But if you do get messed up, I have a person that can help you get back. But it's just more money and more time. Like, you might as well just do it right the first time. Don't do the Joshua Tree ones. Go down to Peru if you're going to do ayahuasca. But I highly recommend you look at Iboga. It's probably going to be more up your alley. Like, if you're drawn to me, that's already the medicine of Iboga telling you, like, you need to be talking to this dude, if that makes sense. So that's my deal here. Nick D, depends on the person. We are all at different levels regarding each of those parts. Yeah, you're not going to hear anyone in the WarTribe complain that the WarTribe is not worth the value of what you pay for it, right? It's $20 a month. And you get a free webinar with me every single Sunday at 5 p.m. for 2 hours where I answer all of your issues. Like, I charge $300 an hour for a consult. Now, for people that are part of the WarTribe, I kick back a bit of a discount for sure, because I love those dudes. They've already committed. But if you're just someone on the outskirts that's not invested in all this stuff and you're just like looking to get whatever, $300 an hour, like cash in hand. And that's just, I mean, you guys can tell from what I provide here, all the stuff that I've been through in life, all the things I've experienced. I have a breadth of knowledge and a wealth of knowledge on just so many topics to turn you into a fucking monster, right? Like a good monster. That's what I'm saying. So get involved. I mean, it's $20 a month, man. If $20 is that important, you got bigger fish to fry. And even if that's your biggest problem, you should get in there. Like, if building financial wealth, or like building finances or building up your wealth or anything's like a big issue, get in there. I heard Rich Cooper talk about it. He spends, I think, about $25,000 a year to be part of this mastermind group. And it's either him or somebody who called into his channel, and they're scared to spend that $25,000. But being involved and around those people made him fucking earn 4 to 5 times that much money more. Right. So it's like, it's an investment. It's investing in you and getting around the right people. A lot of people are just going through life like unaccountable with zero discipline. Like, this is something that'll keep you disciplined. Right. And especially, like I said, you get a webinar every Sunday with me and the group of guys. Like, how awesome was that webinar on Sunday, guys? Like, I found myself yesterday thinking that it was Sunday, like wanting to get back on the webinar with these guys and have these conversations. That's how good it was. If you guys are in the chat and you haven't already hit the like button, please do hit the like button. That will help out big time as well. If you're not a part of the WarTribe, you guys need to become part of the WarTribe, because it's the fucking shiznit. Plain and simple. I believe that the WarTribe is going to be the center point by which we start to shift society back in the right direction. Like I said, it's about that tribe of individuals that are going to we're gonna make the changes, plain and simple. It's do you want to be a part of this legacy or do you not? That's the question. You know what I mean? Anyway, someone put something in the chat. I think my chat got stuck. At least hit a 1. Let me get some 1s to see what's going on here. I think it's stuck. Waiting for those to trickle on in. 1s in the chat. Was great to get on and talk with Corey and the other guys. Perfect. Yeah, now there we go. It caught up. Awesome. Yeah, it just took a little while. Was great to get on and talk with Corey and the other guys. Yeah, we got a great bunch of dudes. I saw something. All right. The reason why I ask is because passive income is my biggest priority, but it's a topic you cover the least in your streams. Yeah, we talk about it more in the WarTribe, and we talk about that more on our webinars as well. It's crazy because it's weird. You know, you might like this topic, Nick, but a lot of people may not. I love it. But that's also something I think is better documented when we have a two-way conversation. Rather, this is a one-way conversation, right? Obviously, you're able to put some comments in, but I can't, like, maybe sometimes I don't see your comment or whatever. But yes, that, guys, we talked quite a bit about passive income in the last webinar, and then we have quite a bit of forums and topics that we do discuss in there as well. Philip is going to talk about, and he's posting up some stock market stuffs in there as well. But we talk about a whole stuff. Eli says the webinar was fantastic. I gave him a whole bunch of actionable items to start getting his life on track right now. What else did I see? John S says too, because he's a dick. I saw something in here too that I wanted to. Nope, that's it. Poopy pants. Cool. Well, anyway, I'm at an hour right now. I'd love to stick around. It's 6:30. I want to write some more. I'm on a fucking roll right now. Obviously, I want to eat some food too and feed my dog. With that said, man, I fucking love you guys, to be honest with you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for celebrating 500 subs with me tonight. Great questions today, too. Keep bringing them. Biggest thing is if you're not subbed, sub. If you're not getting the notifications, I need you guys to hit that notification bell as well, and get all notifications, not just willy-nilly fucking notifications. I don't know what YouTube does. Seems like the majority of you guys are doing that because most of you guys are showing up every single time. If you're feeling froggy, oh shoot, Stoic Trader's up in the house. Let's do a fucking hit me up. I don't know. You know, this is how you're gonna have to hit me up, dude. Is you're gonna have to email me agodofmen@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram, Corey Capella, CORCAPELLA. It'd be awesome. Also, if you guys are feeling a little celebratory because of my 500, hit me up on paypal.me/Corey Capella. Little donation never hurts. And then the last thing is this. Obviously, join the WarTribe. Like, that is where all the work is being done right now. That's where you're going to get the most out of it. No doubt. And then thanks, dude. Yeah, see you on IG then in a bit. All right, guys, take care. As always, see you next time.